Okay, I have my first person guess. Edward, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear
What's
me?
good? I hear you well, brother. I hear you loud and clear. Mic is clear. Yes. So I lay out my I could say my side of the two, and to let people know why I chose Jalen and Haley, because it's telling tale of baby mama and baby father or future baby father that these are young Gen Zs, and a lot of people are very much caught up in the decision what they do as young adults, especially entertain people that either consider dusty or someone that's old enough to be their parent. The premise of this is to give a claim that my side of my views, if it's true with Jalen, that if it is I mean, yeah, he was groomed, and not only he's groomed, but he might have to deal with the consequence because we know where it goes. Now with Haley, from what I'm hearing from a lot of ladies' side and some fellas, but mostly ladies, they think this is a big L. This is not a good look. I look at this dude. I mean, he's just as a YouTuber like all of us, Edward, and he
Yeah,
made his money from that. Remember, the Baileys got noticed from YouTube. So this guy's net worth is 8 million,
I didn't know that.
and he doesn't have any other children that I could find off the internet. So I'm not sure what's the deal. So what's your take on this? The floor is
All right,
yours.
so I'm not gonna front with you. Full disclosure, I commented in the original thing as to what you said, like as it
Mm-hmm.
was going on, but I was doing stuff, so I've been running around doing stuff. So I just decided to come back since you got the link dropped. So I ain't heard nothing you didn't said. But that
Mm-hmm.
being said, just so everybody understands that part, but definitely, I'll definitely check out the replay. But the first thing I'm gonna say, the to me it's different situations when Jalen and King. That's a different situation. So I'm gonna put that to the side. But as far as the DDG thing, what really annoys me about this is from men in particular, but
Mm-hmm.
also from women when they're on social media like this is you have folks that are straight up lying or they're choosing to be ignorant. They're choosing not to do their research. I did a little bit of
Okay.
research watching. I've watched about 7 videos, about 8 to 10 minutes each. I've watched a DJ Vlad interview with DDG. I've watched just to let people know where I'm pulling this from. DJ Vlad. I've watched the interview he had with a at a radio station, like that typical stuff. I've watched, they the channel, before they were famous because he actually contributed to some of the stuff they did, helping them do their
Mm-hmm.
videos. Very big channel that does a lot of different people. And I've watched about a total of 40 minutes, 2 times playback speed. Shout out to that. Pleasing through this, as well as some other stuff I found. And I like DDG from the jump before I did any of this research. Just seeing him there, and because I knew who he was back when he was dating Ruby Rose. And one thing that impressed me about him was that when Ruby Rose was problematic, he got rid of her. And
Yep.
she really
That's
couldn't
that's
handle
what I
that.
heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is when she started being salty, talk about how short he was and all that. But at the end of the day, you dated him, so clearly he was good enough to date. And
Mm-hmm.
this wasn't just a short date; they were together for a little bit. I wouldn't say boyfriend girlfriend, but they definitely dated for a while. So that tells you where he was and where she was. And I didn't know none of this stuff about her. I've seen a couple of stuff on social media
Mm-hmm.
with some other influencers I've seen like Kai and something that's the Z shit. Because my younger brother is 26 and I'm helping him with Twitch, so I've been watching Twitch a lot more than I normally would and kind of getting involved in that world. So yeah, all that being said, this is stuff that anybody could have went through. Like as far as these people, and people chose to just look at stuff. And it's one thing if you initially see it and then fine, but okay, she didn't have a kid with this dude. Actually, look up who is this dude. Whatever. There's plenty of videos whether it's females or dudes that do this type of guys in these types of worlds, right? And the more you
Yeah.
find out, the more people are absolutely positively full of fucking shit. This dude, I've been saying that he's been making $50,000 since he was 19 years old. That is not accurate. DDG has been making seven figures a year since he was 19 years old. DDG has brother and sisters. One of them died. DDG has pulled his family out of the hood
Mm-hmm.
in like a city like Flint, Michigan, Pontiac. Parents, very hardworking people. Both of their parents is in his life. One of them worked in the blue collar dude working in the Ford stuff. Mother worked two
Mhm.
jobs. They were both very supportive of things he wanted to do. This being valedictorian. That's
Mhm.
rare for black men. Not to say we are capable, not capable of doing it, but that they're gonna put that type of effort. He's a middle child, like in the middle, not
Mhm.
oldest, not youngest. This is, and then he went to school, dropped out because he was making seven figures. So why the fuck would
Hmm.
he go?
Damn.
That's as
Damn.
an
Damn.
influencer. So he hasn't. And now when I say seven figures, I mean he was tapping. So that means he
Oh,
was making.
Edward, limit the language a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a
Okay,
little bit,
so
just limit it.
so yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Mhm.
So that means he was making about, in order to make seven figures, you have to at least make about 88,000. So you don't necessarily hit the 100. So the fact that he was even in that range at that age,
Mhm.
and so a lot of how he's used social media, and so he blew up really in 2018, but he had 80,000 subscribers in 16. He's been doing it for a while because he goes all the way back to Vine. So this is somebody that's kind of like a product of social media for a while, and he was doing it
Yeah.
seriously and done a lot of little stuff. I didn't know all this. I knew he kind of did other stuff, but sometimes people do GTA. Some people blow up in different ways. He blew up doing music, comedy, and then he kind of got into music, in which he has been trying to transition into being a rapper. This is who this guy is. But the valedictorian, good in school, but still was able to get women, which is why I find it particularly funny. The SWP was saying some of the stuff he was saying, because this is the dude that's pulled from both sides, two-parent household. This is who Haley Bailey chose to have a kid with. Like this is, and then understand that Haley, that he is worth three times what she is. I agree that she probably has more potential as far as economics, because her in being in Hollywood, and how they're trying to
Yes.
position her, because they're trying to put, because
Yes.
very as a it black woman. But the reality is, this dude has money, and this dude's trajectory is of his own. You don't know if his music will blow up. He has his fans, he has his people, and he is signed to an actual major label like Epic or something like that. On top of the money he can
Mhm.
always draw from social media, which is something even the other rappers can't do. And the last thing I'm gonna say is, another thing that people don't take into consideration is the issue that Haley and Chloe Bailey have a problem with is the social media stuff. They are nowhere near as far along in social media to what they should be, given where they come from, as far as being Disney kids, being like Zendaya has like
Mhm.
literally over 100 million subscribers. They have like six and like seven. They don't have a lot considering how long they've had this kind of exposure. So real talk, he's someone that I'm not, obviously this is not why she's with him, but he's somebody that actually has a unique influence, is why he was able to build an organic market from nothing without that type of corporate visibility. So there's a lot of, so at the end of the day, it's very few people with all of that she could, and keep in mind, we're talking about not her being a part of somebody's harem, not being passed around, not looking stupid like her sister, where it's like everybody's cheating. We're talking about somebody that they only have one kid each, which is the one they have together, like, and boyfriend, girlfriend. I don't know who else she can really get this better other than like a Michael B. Jordan. And Michael B. Jordan is like 30,
You're right about that. You're right. You're
34.
right. You're
And so
right.
now you're going to hear the 34, 23. She's only 3 years older than him. I don't know what else. The only thing is he didn't marry her. And truth be told, that probably has a lot to do with her. When you're young like that, they're already together. They don't really care what other people want to say. Why put the paperwork on it? They can do that later. They're cohabitating. So the more I
Mhm.
learn, like actually the history of the stuff, other than what I've seen about how he's reacted to certain things, and he
Mhm.
doesn't control his family with his money either. And I know that because there's
Excellent.
a situation
Excellent.
with him and
Excellent.
his sister where he don't like his sister's boyfriend because he want to act stupid, but he ain't really leveraging that in order to get rid of him. They're using that as part. So my point is, the actually look people up. I get that it's the more you learn, the more you realize, wow, people are really full of it. Because calling this dude Dusty, you are literally calling somebody that has eight figures Dusty. Now you do better calling him short, okay? Even though he's 5'8", which by the way, Ti is like 5'8", 5'9", by the way. But to call
Mhm.
him Dusty, that's how I know Dusty is a term for black. That's a racial slur when black women use
It
it.
is. It is. It is. And you think about Edward. The reason why I reference it loosely the word dusty, because I've noticed certain content creators, and I'm not gonna say the content. One that's a lady that would criticize about these women should get married before they carry, and this one with Sarge was mentioned, the one he likes. the one that's a consecrated, the female, the chick, the chocolate chick. I'm not, what I'm talking about. That she referenced it that it's not going nowhere, and she doesn't really do research because in her mind, if these dudes are not putting a ring on it, it doesn't matter. It's a form of dustiness, and to me, I mean, marriage is the option now for a lot of people in the West. Not everybody's gonna be so eager, spending their generation to put a ring on it.
So here's the
That's not.
thing. This is where people have to get off the internet and then understand that people see. It's funny how people will try to come at us and say all we do is talk about the internet, and this stuff
Mhm.
isn't applicable to real life. There's people that we know of. If I were to say their name, I'm not gonna put them out there like that. That they were in there.
Mhm.
They didn't get married to the people they had kids with until they recently did. There's actually a couple of people I'm
Yeah.
thinking about now. They recently did, but at first they didn't. Because at the end, and I've always said this because people will say, oh, well, you're saying something different. No, I'm not. I've always said cohabitating occupies this real realm. Now, if they were not together, that would be a different thing. Did she be officially a baby mama? But at this point, they're cohabitating. This is not a future situation where he's got multiple baby mamas. They are projecting, just like how they say black men, what the Sierra and Russell Wilson situation is going to inevitably end up with.
Mhm.
Like how we say it, it's not that now, though. That's not its current status. And so we talk as if they're already broken up when they're not. That's what BGS, unfortunately, that's what BGS keeps reminding folks of. The same thing with this situation. Right now, they're cohabitating. They both have money. He has more than her. Dusty, he has more than her. And quite frankly, he's stronger than she is when it comes to YouTube. Well, not YouTube, but when it comes to social
Exactly.
media and how she uses it. She's back. Make no mistake, the Baileys are backed by corporations. And that's not to take nothing from them, but this is somebody that did it on his own. He is a self-made dude. And the biggest thing that impressed me was he was a valid Victorian. Where you would never hear anyone, black, white, or otherwise, call a valid Victorian Dusty. And by the way, this dude was a valid Victorian taking took like mostly AP classes. Do you understand how hard it
Mm.
is to hit the number? So when people want to say, oh, well, that's a school in Pontiac, it may not have been the greatest school, but that's taking AP classes. That's very difficult. And it makes sense that he would have did that because his parents probably didn't have the money to push him through school and stuff. So that's the reason why I was going to take more AP classes was because that cuts out how much you got to pay for school for the first 2 years. So, I mean, this is a
Yeah.
Z. So when you look at, and the thing is, because he has a look, the certain type of look, if this is the same thing I brought up with Marshawn Lynch. I pay attention to what people do, not necessarily what they look like. Because if you look a certain type of way, but you have the fundamentals behind you, I'm willing to let that go if you're not doing nothing stupid. So these are the type of people he is like the definition of what a role model would be, especially when you look at the craziness that is, especially in y'all's generation, but also in millennial generation. When I see him, I see Ludacris, I see Chameleonaire, I see a lot of guys that they were rappers. Obviously, he's not on their level rapping wise, but they were business guys and they have demonstrated it. And we're not about the goofiness because Chameleonaire is out of the spotlight, Ludacris is married, and even though they get this "you're a hood" thing, so people need to do like this is not hard stuff. All I typed was DDG bio, DDG age, DDG this, and this stuff came up. I did it on YouTube. Who is DDG? So I mean, for dudes my age, our job here is we gotta know what we're talking about. Especially if we're gonna make these claims. I haven't seen all of the SWP videos, so I'm not gonna mention that here. But what these
Mhm.
women are doing. The biggest issue I got is he's pulling a lot of what he does based on the squawking the women are doing. So if they holler loud enough about something, you just assume it to be true because if dude looks the part, he is the part. And we're supposed to give black men a little bit more of a benefit of a doubt. The one case he was in was he was caught with a possession charge and then reckless driving. That's white people stuff with minus the gun, and he wasn't convicted of that. I didn't find. So he hasn't been convicted of anything. So, but nobody's going to say any of this because the narrative has to be really, let's be very clear. I'm going to say this and I'm done. Let's be very clear here. Black women are upset about DDG because they want Halle Bailey to be with a white dude. They want to live their swirler
I
fantasies.
said this early in the stream. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they want to live their swirler fantasies. And that's true for Simone Biles. That's true for Halle. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good for you mentioning that. I said this during this other portion of the stream that would you ladies be more comfortable if Haley was knocked up by a non-black man?
Yes.
Would you
And
be?
they would.
They would, because in their mind, as long as not a black man or an N word is better. But they look at it and say, wait, you're a middle class woman found by Beyonce. You have status. You were with Little Mermaid, and you threw it all the way over a nick? Really?
Well, it
But
takes
when they
it
don't
takes
do
two to be married too.
yeah,
That's another thing people
yeah,
don't apply to. Like a lot of these chicks don't want to be married. Like they
yeah,
don't want that
yeah,
title, especially when they're young, because it's a permanent thing. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. And now I perfect thing, but now they can't explore their already inflated options, to be on. And trust me, when I mean on, they want to be doing this, Edward, on the carousel. You get me?
Yeah, I mean,
They want.
I mean, at the end of the day, and when you look at how she's approaching social media, because they're mad at her about how they handled the baby situation, it's really none of y'all business. It's like you can
Mhm.
tell she was raised right as far as not really sweating the social media as much as they otherwise could. Like let pimping a baby situation, just like people want to pimp these life situations, and that is what it is. I'm not saying everybody that does it do it, but yes, in a very own way, you're pimping the situation. Now it can be tasteful as far as how you do it. Like obviously Beyonce is Beyonce, they're gonna be all up in her stuff anyway, so I get that with the Blue Ivy situation. But with them, she wanted to go a different route, and so the reality is it's really none of your business what she's doing in that way until she wants to make that your business. And so they were giving her heat for that, but everything under it is like, even it was even a video, a TikTok, where he was talking, and I saw this like weeks ago, and she was talking, and it was a commenter talking about, I like you for Haley. And then he really started to lambast this shit, and he said, "I'm sorry, you got to catch this straight, but it's other people saying that. Like, why do you say that? Why does it matter what you like me for who?" And that's because, and I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. These women are living vicariously through these people. They're like Jiminy Cricket. They're like, what's that? My Fairy Godparents. Where you
Yeah,
got it's like that's who they are. They're like in these people's lives, and this is like the thing that reality TV is done. And so dudes hear that, and then they make these assumptions about people, because and women will lie. They will run with their narratives, and that's why I expect dudes to be a little bit more understanding to who they're talking about. Like, know who. I ain't saying you gotta be an expert and stuff, but you gotta give them a shake. At least give them a couple of YouTube videos. I've watched channels like, I didn't watch it for him, but I've watched channels like Impressive TV, people that can put this information together in like 8 minutes. Even on somebody like
mhm,
Steve Harvey, when you want to go into detail is why is his family not really fooling with him, the ones that are his kids. Do the research. That's what 2 point playback speed is for. But everybody's making these narratives using these terms dusty. You all are calling black male millionaires dusty. Like, not to curse again, because you say, but do you
yeah,
understand
yeah.
how retarded that is? Do you understand where we are? And notice how a lot of these Negroes be pseudo light skinned too. Did they be saying that? Like, and which I don't care. But my point is, it's like y'all just throw that around, like and the argument I always make too is, okay, cool, you don't like her with him. My argument is, why haven't I seen a list of who Haley Bailey should be with? Who Lori Harvey? He got more money than Idris Elba. DDG is probably a better catch than Damson Idris. Now,
Oh
some people
wow.
may not agree with that, because women may
Mhm.
say, "Oh, I don't agree with that because he's taller." Cool, but on paper, other than the height, and other than
Yeah.
looks, on paper, he's 10 million, and he's only getting higher because the dude ain't just spending to be spending. He's only getting higher.
Mhm.
Damson Idris is not there yet. He's not there. And I'm just saying. I mean, if you really want to do paper now, unless you want to say, "Oh, that don't matter," because look. And by the way, he dated Ruby Rose looks better than Haley Bailey. Haley Bailey's
Oh
much.
yeah, yeah. She
It's
better.
not
Yeah,
even.
she better look.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
even a comparison to who you would have a kid with. Haley Bailey's going to be a better person, probably have a mother and a child based on how she's. Even white dudes compliment her on how she acts as a person. Her likability is very good in an era where likability in women is not really like that. But as far as looks and just looks alone, if we're gonna play that game, Ruby Rose looks
Mhm.
better than Haley Bailey. So, and he got rid of her. And if you look at who he has dated, to be honest with you, Haley Bailey is not the like Haley Bailey would be like fourth. Even the chick he dated, like her name was Kennedy, when he was up and coming, like maybe right north of 100,000 on YouTube, looked technically better than her.
Mhm.
But when you look at all
Mhm.
the other stuff, plus where she's positioned and stuff, Haley's probably better positioned to handle the lifestyle. Because that's one thing that was talked about too, is a lot of people would be jealous of him as he was like moving in that trajectory. And this is somebody that worked to do that. He didn't just automatically just go on YouTube and YouTube blessed him. He had to try again, you know, and to get that to work. And he did comedy here, music there, and stuff like that. And he built his audience, you know, and you actually understand the history. And so, you know, and like I said, he's technically like a last bus stop millennial because he's 26.
Mhm.
And so, and my brother's 27. So really the earliest bleeding is 26 to like 24 is like bleeding edge. It can kind of go both ways. But
Mhm.
yeah, let me see. I'm looking at them as net worth, so I don't be a liar and not do my research. Um,
Mhm.
Okay, so they're about the same. They're about the same. They say his is estimated 10 million. So he had, and I'm not taking nothing away from him. He had the primetime show Snowfall. So yeah, they're the same. Net worth, they're the same. So I mean,
Mhm.
and you can make an argument his career can take off because obviously he's pulling in Hollywood national, especially with Jonathan Majors taking a hit. So I always look to slide another dude
Yeah.
in there. So, but still, the point is, um, and let's see how old he is. Like when you look at somebody that's his age in their 20s, which is he's 32 years old. So now we would be like, oh, well, it's a 9-year gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Who
that makes sense. Yeah.
Ibris? What they call the or what's that?
Damn,
Didi? Who's
no,
9 years
damn,
different?
no, DDG is 26. So he's a 3-year gap. But Haley, Damson Idris is 32.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
that makes
okay,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah, because that's a big thing. These gaps now is the things that these people are hollering about. And let's be clear here. If he would have married Haley Bay, first of all, that's a decision they make together. And I'm saying that
Of
because
course.
Ime Adoka wanted to marry Nia Long, and Nia Long didn't want to be married. Nia Long is 7, 8 years, about 8 years older than Ime Adoka. So when she
Hmm.
got with Ime Adoka when she was 30, like 39. And so he was like
Hmm.
32, just like how Carrie Hilson is like 7 years older than Isher Zabaka. So obviously that's a control thing with that. She didn't expect Ime Adoka to be a coach like that though. So he kind of blew up on him. So in order for them not to look stupid, they tend to say, oh, you're a fiance if you have a certain amount of status, like Nia Long said, that perpetual fiance stuff. So that way nobody's got to ask questions of why you're not married or why you're there because they don't want to call her just a girlfriend at like 40s and 50s, right? And so the thing
Hmm.
is, and Nia Long did not want to get married. So what it is it's not that these dudes are not offering it. These women are like, let's not worry about this. Let's do this, do that. And why would he care? Cause you know, he's like, I'm good. I can care less what these people are talking about. You know, I'm with you, you with me, blah, blah, blah. That's how that actually happens. But it's usually the women. And if it was true now, it'd be different if he was like Future having all these other folks. Truth be told, Future would have married Sierra. Sierra just had to accept that he was going to cheat, and she couldn't accept that.
I just couldn't accept it. Yeah,
And
and
I'm
you're
not
right. You're
saying
right.
she should have, but that's what he said. He would have married her. It's just you gonna be the number one, not the only one, and she didn't want that. And it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. And not only that is that because she was pregnant at the time and she wanted to legitimize instead of become a baby mama. That's when she departed from that relationship, she said, "I gotta find some dude immediately because I don't want to be out here as a woman almost pushing 30 being baby mom. I need to be
Exactly. And
covered."
it's a different mentality when you're almost pushing 30. It's a different mentality because another thing too is her career is more her best of her career is behind her, not in front of her. And she was transitioning into other stuff versus Haley, it's a different
Yeah.
situation. Now, obviously I understand the advantages of her getting married because it's not the greatest of look when it comes to endorsements and all of that. And I'm sure that's been told to her by her parents. But that, I promise you, they can put pressure on him to marry her. If it's not he don't want to get married, you would see that tension. It's not he don't want to get married, but she want to get married. No, that's not what this is. You can kind of tell when that is what that is. And no, it's
Mhm.
that she don't really care. And quite frankly, it ain't nobody really kind of saying you need to make. Clearly, the corporations are not making it a requirement like they used to, and it may be where these
Mhm.
Z's are that they're not hitting that as much. Because you gotta remember what era we're in right now with the whoredom compared to like what it would have been like when Sierra came up. It was there, but it wasn't. It still was certain things you have to put together. It's not the same thing. So these corporations, it's like they really gonna come at a chick being a single. It technically, of course, single mother, being a single mother versus all the other stuff they let ride. Like with all the other woke stuff, it doesn't make sense. It's very anti. And you got to remember, there's single. I'm not saying you should do this, but there's single mothers that are obviously watching these shows. They're a market they want to tap into. So it's not perceived the same thing in this era that it was. And this is people say, "Oh, well, you're making." I'm not making excuses, but what I am saying is that she's not an official baby mama until they break up. As long as they're together, they're just cohabitating at this point, and they
Mm-hmm.
both got
Yeah,
money. Yeah.
they got money. Like I said, they're in a good place right now, and I'm wishing, hoping for the best. Oh, how you doing, Kai? What's good? Thank you for the super chat. I think is this the first super chat for the year? Might be. I
Mm.
can't remember, man. I don't keep track. I don't get super
So
chat.
I just
But I
want to give my
appreciate
2
Kai.
cents on that. As far as the other one, that's
Yeah.
easy. That's easy, man. Go typical gold digger. Last Hail Mary. She hit a touchdown. That's on his. That's on him.
Mm-hmm.
That I mean, that's really people want to. Black women were wrong when they were. They effed up when they start lying. Like when they start saying, "Oh, his son ain't 21. Her son ain't 21." And I started because I didn't know a lot about this situation, so I was like, maybe he ain't. He's 17. Nah, he's 21. And I
Mm-hmm.
know they knew that they were lying. Like they start lying. At the end of the day, trust me, these NBA they only gonna keep doing that so many times before these dudes get smart. Like trust me, these dudes are gonna
Mm-hmm.
get smart. So she got one, and it's what it is. I always say I don't hate on these chicks for playing a game. If you a dude and you fall for it, that's on you. You could have effed her without nothing in her. I mean, you like, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of this stuff has. I don't want to say he's got a mommy complex or whatever, but this goes all the way back to like Usher. A lot of dudes that are dating women are like north of 7, 8 years older than them, and it's like, I mean, oh well, why do you care? The thing is, but when your kid is 20, she's gonna be 60. That's what you did to your kid, like real talk.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like it
You
ain't
know,
even
if
about
this
like,
is
yeah. So
it's embarrassing, bro. But like I said, with most women, and they said she was married already more than once, and I always get suspect when a woman has been a divorcee more than once,
she's a jump
and now you
off.
go turn around, you turn around and you go mess around with a person that is your son's age, and your son's looking down on you
It's
right now.
the thing is it's not like people the age thing. Yeah, that's a thing, but it's also who's doing it. She's a jump off. She's a jump off with a
Mhm,
couple of sponsorships. She's a jump off
mhm,
that she know how to do some things on her. She knows how to leverage her sexuality without just like just going hardcore with it. You know what I'm saying? She
mhm,
understands less is more. She understands it's smarter to be a B. She knows how to be a swimsuit model. They may, be a Fenty represented. She understands a little bit of marketing, branding, and maximizing her sexual her looks. So she's smarter than the bottom B type of chick. But at the same time, she understands what age she is, and there's a reason why she dated him. And this is not about what you have in common. People say, well, Marcus Houston dating the young woman he dated or married, and that's 20 years. That's different because men are expected to
mhm,
pay for everything, and also that was done within the confines of Jehovah's Witness. There's a lot of people involved in that, not just him. There's a lot of people, so it's not the
mhm,
same, and it's never the same. Our species evolved with older men dating younger women. It's not the same in reverse. So y'all
mhm,
trying to act like it is because of feminism, please. Like at the end of the day, you really
mhm.
think they're gonna have a relationship when he's 30 and she's 50? You really think that's what
Nah,
it's gonna be? You really think he's
nah.
not gonna be like, come on, he's a check. Now watch now. If he don't get access, now if somehow she can't access that money, you trust and believe it's gonna be a problem If she winds up like, yeah, if she
Oh,
goes out like Brittany Renner
mhm.
with like
I want
3,500.
to add. I want to add on, Edward. If the man still stays to Houston, because if you remember, Uncle D said best. In the state of Houston, there's a cap on how much you can get for child support. Now I'm not sure where Dred is. I know she's living in New York, but if she's dealing with this
I
dude,
think it matters where the kid is born, and I know she knows. She knows.
if that is the case, then it might be a problem for him. That might be
He
problem
he he
if he.
may he may because he's a resident in Houston have some stuff, but they're not there yet. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. In order, here's the thing. If she tries to go for broke on child support, that pretty
Mhm.
much tells on her what she's doing. Because you're not gonna say child support. The real purpose of child support is to get the dude accountable to doing something. So if they're not
Yeah.
doing it, so it's this idea that he's not doing what he could be doing. So if she automatically puts him on child support, that's a different type of look. Because we haven't seen in a while a young dude and an older woman, and then you're doing it. That looks very different because you can't say you can't make the play that you're like vulnerable to him, like mentally. You can't make that argument. You can't make the argument that you didn't have an understanding of the relationship and what was going on sexually more less so than he did, because you have that type of age gap. It's kind of the similar thing as to how they went at it with by the way, these are two light-skinned chicks, by the way. Brittany Renner. Like, she can't be the victim of him because you have it. That's only that was like a 7-year, 8-year gap. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
claim that. It doesn't come off that way. Even women don't really buy that. Women tend to not buy that. So with that being said, a gap to where you're dating somebody the age of your son, even in the courtroom, that just looks retarded. It really does. It looks, even women and judges aren't gonna be like completely collapsing on this dude. And real talk, this
Mhm.
dude is not a playboy like that. Like where he's just like Zion or something. Like he's just out here. So that also makes it harder to make that kind of case. So he ain't completely messed up with no Vaseline, but we'll see
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
with that because yeah, but it's obvious gold diggery.
Yeah. And one thing, because Joe Button called it out, he was more I how's the
He
word?
was he was more
He
team
was
hypocrisy.
yeah, it's hypocrisy, and he knows that is grooming is a form of predatory behavior. And my issue with a lot of these dudes when they have these ladies on, if they're guests or if they work with you, they're not gonna take your side. Because think about it, you think if they had the opportunity to sit there and mess around with a younger dude that's in the league, listen, Edward, when All Star happened a few years ago in Atlanta, these dudes were dropping $1 million to these dancers. You get me? You think
Yeah,
these ladies not gonna go down? Yeah, for a dude that's in the league and potentially put
women,
themselves in a good position to get
women,
a serious bag.
because women
Yeah,
don't care because they don't see it as long term anyway. It's just it's like
yeah,
it's a trick. It's like it's a trick situation. They don't. That's not what they're thinking. It's obvious. It's obvious that's not what it is, and that's why I come at it with. And so it's not so much you're dealing, because it's not the same. People try to say, well, you're dealing with a woman that's naive. These women know what they want sexually. Let's stop fronting like they don't. That is not the same as like money. Like a woman can choose to sleep with somebody and then choose not to. And even with a baby, they have absolute control if they have a child. Period. So they can be nutted.
yeah.
Like they can be nutted into and decide not to have it. Same thing going back to Halle. She did not have to have it. Oh, well, what about her values? Well, if that was that serious, she has a whole career, even outside the values. She knows not to let him just go raw dog and nut in her. Like, look, if we're gonna just keep it
Hmm.
all the way 100 like that, it's not like, oh man, he nutted in, yeah, dude nutted in her once, and all of a sudden she's pregnant. No, that ain't how that works. Like
That's how it works.
BGS is absolutely right. When these chicks have a baby, it's because they
Yeah.
want to, and you can tell when you watch videos of them too that she likes him. And
Hmm.
at the end of the
Hmm.
day, if you say why not? Really, why not? He's got 10 million. He's making more money. Like his rap career is only getting started. And the thing about it is, people say, well, he's mediocre. He can be that and still get money Because the reality is he's got an audience that actually messes with him like that, and he knows how to get money out of them, which is unfortunately a lot of these influencers don't know how to do that. So you may not like his music, but the numbers don't lie. And he had a picture with Beyonce at the Grammys. Um, and trust and believe, Beyonce wouldn't have been in a picture with people that she thought, if she thought, because she knows who he is because of what she does with Chloe and them. So she didn't like him. She has that bouginess about her too, as well. She know who he is because of that connection. So she wouldn't have been in the picture if she wasn't in a picture with Kim Kardashian for the longest time, even when she was with Kanye for that very reason. So she has that in her too. Now, so my point is, I get it. A lot of these women like the gender. Anyway, long story short, that other situation with Jalen, he's got some wiggle room, but we'll see if when she plays her hand, that makes women look bad. To be honest with you, like if anything, other women should be paid. And I don't even think she's black like that. I don't. She's got to be like a black Hispanic. So I'm not gonna put that straight up on African American women, but just like how Brittany Renner's mixed too, like so.
Oh, you talking about Drea?
Yeah.
You talking about Drea, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
No, actually, Drea is Italian and black. One of her parents is white, Italian.
Exactly. You know who else is Italian and black? Maya.
Is it? Oh yeah, and actually, her father.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people thought she was like Puerto Rican or something. No, it's Italian.
Yeah, they say her father. I think it's from Jamaica.
And they similar ages. Yeah, so he ain't. So she ain't. So that's why I ain't gonna fully put that on African American women because she ain't that. So that's another thing. So I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean he passport bros, dude, but you should have got a younger one. I don't know why you might as well import chicks if you're gonna do all that. I get it though, because people say, oh well, she was on the poster of his wall. I'm like, he doesn't even match the age for that. Like he don't even match the age for that. He would have been like 11 years old when she was been in her prime. Like that doesn't match up at all. And so the only reason why dudes bring up the age gap really is because of the hypocrisy of women. Women want to make it like it's a form of sexual assault because I call it sexual politicking. So they want to sit here and make it. I'm seeing people starting to bring up Leonardo DiCaprio now, white women. They want to make it to where it's seen as disgusting, and they want to legislate in the court of public opinion that dudes cannot go down a certain age gap. That's what they're doing. And the problem, and the thing is, dudes, and it's not just famous dudes. Like I literally have a video of a female, where her daughter, no, a female where her father takes her out to dinner and stuff, to celebrate whatever. And people really be looking at them like that's her, like that's his young thing. And she brought it up, to him, and he was like, yeah, he's like, yeah. So she literally has to low key dress down. That is crazy. And ain't just that's everybody. That is crazy. But that's how it is. You got people out here and the thing is, most of these folks don't got the balls to do that with white men. So what they do is they try to overcompensate by paying attention to black men. And the funny thing is, Hispanics have a completely different definition of like consent when it comes to like, if you really understand what they deal with internally. They never talk about it. The women are on code with that, and I'm not bringing it up, but it's kind of like they're especially if you're starting to deal with women over like in other countries. Like if a dude is from like Paraguay or Uruguay, I'm talking about a dude is from there. If they want, they know what to do. Go back to your country and get what you gonna get, where the rules or whatever the rules are, and your opinion is irrelevant. And they will bring them back if they can. I've worked with dudes, call centers that have done this. They come back. I've seen them a few years later, and you look like, and it ain't necessarily old. I ain't even talking about older dudes and necessarily like they're old. I'm talking about dudes that may be like a little bit younger than me. And then like it's not the same. So when you understand this, it's this thing where everybody wants to throw the R word on everything. Like even grooming, like oh, you want a younger woman so you can groom her. And in sports world, we call that coachable. That's what we call it. So like you can't, a relationship doesn't work that way. Man, this idea that men are like these dictators, that's not true. That's just what y'all say. Now, Last thing I'm gonna say is when they talk about that dictatorial crap, what they're really talking about is this dude is of a certain level, whether it's looks, money, status, a combination of the two, that he can replace you easily and you can't do anything about it. That's what you call controlling. Men cannot physically control you. Diddy is a special case, but men cannot physically control you like that. But what they can do is replace you. That's what they don't like. And they don't like this feeling of you can be replaced if you don't comply with certain things. That's what they don't
Yeah.
like. And that's what they call controlling. That's not controlling. That's just, it's not
Mm-hmm.
controlling. Anyway. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, these young people, they're living life, and we just here just watching it through. I mean, I cover it nonetheless, like every other content creator, and personally, how I see the outcomes of this is like I don't have a problem. The only thing that I caution people, if they're going to really cover these two young people, they should do thorough research. I mean, I just did a quick Google search on DDG, and I heard about it from other content, so I just did a quick search, and I said, yeah, this man is making good money. And when I read the brief bio, he is very talented, and he is smart, because to be valedictorian, that takes, I mean, work, personally. But like I said, I mean, when you hear people that don't do thorough research, they just look by the person's outer look and what they do, and it said this person is a degenerate. And I said, no, 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 no. Let's look at it. Let's see if that holds weight. It don't look like it holds weight. So personally, people that keep putting it out there and saying this nonsense. I mean, I tell people many times. I say it's clickbait, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Personally, now in
Yeah.
regards to
Yeah.
Jalen,
Because
Jalen,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead, no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, they use him as a youth. The problem is they use him as a euphemism for all black men and how they feel about all black men. And unfortunately, it's a lot of black men that buy into that because of how loud black women are. And that's
Yeah,
very problematic. And people are not noted. People are speaking about the Drea situation with Jalen Green, but it's more like it's on him, and it is. I mean, he's got people around him. He skipped over all of them just to deal with this chick, and it's like it is what it is. I mean, these people are gonna make. I mean, the truth is, I'm only gonna be so mad at that chick because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna tell these women not to play the game. If y'all are out here, like it's who's the chick? Bernice Burgos. But I will tell
yeah,
you this. I will tell you this too. They're not just meeting these people at 21. Like this stuff just doesn't happen. This takes time, and so I'm very confident she met him before he was 21. I'm very confident that she met him before
yeah.
she was 18. Same thing with Bernice Burgos. Like as far as like messaging and stuff, if you really want to trace it, it's not happening when they're 18. I'm not saying it's like 15 or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but like it's not. It's not. And the problem is it's too much hypocrisy. It's too much, that's the issue. These people, I say the same thing I say about women. He knew who she was. He knew what age she was. She didn't lie about nothing. As far as what you can obviously see, her age. You know what she looks like. I don't care how young she thinks she. You know she got a son. You knew all of this. You still did that.
Still did
You
that.
you
Yeah,
grown, and you grown, and that's all. And the truth be told, dudes in the past got all these kids. Whatever. At some point you gotta let dudes live. And it's the same thing with chicks too. Same thing with Haley Bailey. At the end of the day, you look at her sister. Her sister, oh, well, she's childless. I get all that. It's not even about childless. Not child. The truth be told, having a kid at 23, you got time for that snapback to work because you're young versus you wait until you're 30.
yep.
That is the issue is you have to make a decision. And as far as when somebody gets married, if they get married, you'll have to see. You don't know. But the thing is, there's a reason Kevin Samuels didn't talk about entertainers and really put entertainers in his conversation
In
because
the bub, because
entertainers is different calculations.
yeah, they make the money differently. He's been harping this for the last 2 years before he transitioned back in 2022 of May. That he put certain people in certain categories. He only focused with the working class, not the so-called entertaining class of society. They
Yeah,
don't build societies. They're
and
here to
yeah,
entertain. Are the real workers are the ones that what society needs.
yeah, and everybody has this like princess complex with with Haley Bailey, and the truth is she appreciates that, but she don't want that to the point where it's like y'all are putting like a Martin Luther King, like Rosa Parks thing on her.
Mm,
That's not working. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. Like y'all are living y'all relationship through her. Like the same thing people did with Beyonce and Jay-Z. I mean, at the end of the day, people gonna have to be honest. And if you all, well, you're justifying, I'm not justifying nothing. I'm just like don't put her in the same situation as the single mother situation we talk about. Like that's not a power situation as to why that's not the situation she's in. It's not the same thing. They both got two parents. That kid has a grandma and grandpa. Both of them ain't stressing. They got siblings. Like what are we talking? You're talking about a piece of paper, and it matters, but at the same time, they'll do what they're gonna do when they want to do it, or they won't. And
mhm.
it's not me making excuses for it. Do not try to put DDG in the same situation with like NBA YoungBoy. That is not the same situation. It is not. And this is not me justifying anything. And as far as the people you were talking about, um, the typical folks, they always are talking crap. Like they're calling him Dusty because he's black. He's worth $10 million. This is his first kid. If you do not, she got with somebody that she literally got with somebody that's a valid Victorian. She literally got the best of both worlds. The only real knock on him is his height, and he's 5'8". That's average height. That's
Yeah.
not below average. So I
Yeah,
mean,
well, the average right now height is supposed to be close to 5'10". 5'9" they'll accept, but once you below that is they
no,
consider that
that's not
small.
average. That's not average. I know I get that, but that's not
Yeah,
average.
yeah, yeah.
Like six, like at
Okay.
average, it's like 5'9", 5'8". Like it's not that many. It's like because you
Yeah.
gotta remember 6 foot is not that many guys that are 6 foot. So even and
Nah.
by the way, Ti is 5'9". See, people forget
Yeah.
that. A lot of these
Okay.
new rappers, Lil Wayne is 5'6". A lot of these
Oh.
rappers
Yeah,
are
yeah,
short.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I heard it was
most
small, but I didn't know he was that small.
most of your rappers are short, with the exception of Jay Z. So Jay Z is tall, Future is tall. What's it? Drake is tall, but most of them are not that tall. Most of your rappers are not that tall. Most of them are like in the five, five. I would say most of them are like 5'8" or hovering at 5'7", 5'8". Nipsey Hussle, I don't think was tall. He wasn't 5'6". Now
Mm-hmm.
most of them ain't 5'6", but most of them ain't 5'10" either.
Mm.
And that's another thing that people don't pay attention to. So when you see Laura London, like that status stuff can buy you out of stuff. Lil Wayne got multiple baby mamas out there. I ain't looking at these new dudes. These new dudes may be taller because I know Jadina is tall. Obviously, J. Cole is tall as crap. They think he's a basketball player. So there are some, but most of them ain't tall like that. Most of them are under 5'10", not over 6 feet.
Okay. 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 All right.
No,
Uh-huh.
it's like don't believe.
Some
Hey, you all don't believe me. Take your favorite rappers. Google it. I don't Google it. That people, oh, you're short, so you go no. But um, Ruby Rose said he was short, which is why I Googled DDG because that was a notch he thought. But other than that,
isn't the
it's,
girls like 5'7"? How old?
ex-
I think she's like 5. Let me double
well,
check that. I
that's
think she's
still
like 5.
short. You know how it is. You know how it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't arguing with no. You're not with Mar.
Yeah, I
They
did.
said to get.
I didn't know Jennifer Lopez was 5'5". I thought she was taller than that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, and I thought Rihanna was like close to 6 feet. When I double checked, no, she only 5'8". So I'm saying they're making over.
Yeah, when they're 5'8", they look taller because because you
Yeah,
gotta remember they got heels too. So 4 inches,
yeah,
5'8", yeah, you're gonna see that. Man, like I didn't really know how. I knew Nicki Minaj was short, but you don't know how short until she was on Kai Cenat string because you
mm,
really don't really get to eyeball her like that.
mhm.
Because she's always obscured with something like if it's in radio. So yeah, but end of the day, and people gonna do it. People gonna spread the narratives. He don't care. Obviously, what that does for him is that spreads his name out there. And then when it's time for people to actually get the facts, they get the facts. So that ain't doing nothing but hurting him. But you don't really hear him in that conversation in big YouTuber. I know that Aiden thing with those the rappers are going on. Like people don't, and people don't realize is to these folks that are like 14, 15, 16. These influencers are like celebrity. They're beyond reality. I wouldn't put they're higher than reality shows. They're their own personal
Mm-hmm.
reality show. They're no, they're I wouldn't say they're like celebrity. Even Ben Affleck said that. He said celebrity is democratized and it doesn't have the same cachet it used to. And he didn't think that was a bad thing, to be honest. But he said that's a different calculation than what it was in the past. So people younger that really grew up on this social media, I mean really grew up on it, these people are like celebrities for real, for real. They are. And
Mm-hmm.
DDG has like 4 million subscribers on YouTube. Then you
Mm-hmm.
got to look at them. And I mean, Kai Cenat can start riots. He almost got locked up for that, doing some kind of giving. These dudes, yeah, like it's not, no, they just online, especially with the dudes, the women sometimes, but with the dudes, when you get like 1 million people following you as a dude, that to me, that has more cachet than 1 million people following you as a female, because dudes don't get followed unless they really get, messed with. Even somebody like Derek Jackson, the women that are following him. Not like with women, you got dudes, if they're attractive, dudes will just subscribe just because of that and not pay attention. It's not the same. It's not. When you can get that as a dude, most of these people are rocking with you at some level. Anyway,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, like I said before, hold on.
he said Coach Red Pill, like, oh, this person. I mean, at the end of the day, man, like good cat, you can get that a dime a dozen, especially if you think globally. Now, obviously, the basketball player, he's not able to like travel like that with ease because of the nature of his job. But the reality, man, and Bernice, I don't think so. I mean, my question is, why would you date Bernice when her daughter is 18, 19, 20? Why would you,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're that age? If you're like in your 20s, why would you date her? I mean, truth be told, if you can date her daughter, you probably can get her. You probably can get a 2 for 1 if you got enough
Exactly,
money. Yeah.
exactly,
They probably got
exactly.
that kind of relationship where, I'm oh well, are you serious? Lori Harvey dated Diddy and his son.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously though, like so it makes no sense to deal with her because it's going to be harder to date her, Bernice Burgos, and then date her daughter. It's going to be easier to date her daughter, and same you look at how they're trying to push how what's her name, what is her name, uh Erica Badu is trying to push her daughter. I don't know if she's of age, but you
She
know
about to be 20 this year. She about to be 20 this year.
Erica Badu.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So Erica Badu is 2 years over 18. So yeah, she's pushing her. They know what they're
yeah,
doing when they do this, and ain't nobody saying nothing. They know what they're doing when they do this stuff. They do. Don't pretend like they don't. Anyway.
yeah. I mean, they know what they're doing at the end of the day. That's why I don't really fall too much in my feelings about the grooming aspect in the business. It's part of the territory. You know what I'm saying, and not only is part of territory, but they're in a class within themselves. They're not gonna be outside the little circle to be dealing with regular people. I mean, I don't know why people
Well,
don't understand this.
yeah, that's true.
Think about Edward. One woman said that they read that Halle dealt with someone that's like a banker or someone in those like industry. I said, wait, she is in an environment where she's dealing with millionaires and
if she
potential millionaires.
Yeah, if she
So
deals with a banker, she's gonna deal with a banker that's connected to the industry. It doesn't work that way. And even when women say banker, you don't like. What are you talking about? A bank? I know you're not talking about a bank teller. What do you mean when you say that? You talk about investment banker, and that's another way of saying a white dude. Because if this is a white dude, nobody's
yeah,
gonna
yeah, yeah, yeah,
understand.
yeah. Basically, yeah,
Like,
yeah, basically.
and the other thing too, I'm gonna say, and this, well, this is what it is. I've said this on my channel. One thing that's interesting because obviously Chloe is more figured than traditionally than Haley Bailey has been, but with Haley Bailey getting pregnant and having a kid, your body goes through changes, and when you're in your 20s, a lot of these chicks use pregnancy as a way to reformat their body. So this is why when you have chicks getting
This is
abortions and
true.
stuff
This is
like
true.
that, this activate hormones. So we'll see what she comes out looking like. So this is one of the things about having kids when you're younger. Now people would say, "Oh, well, you're promoting." I'm not promoting anything. These are entertainers doing what entertainers do. And just like how when you see other people come, like there's a difference between her doing this and then Sierra having a kid with a dude that she knew was cheating on her and already had 4 baby mamas before her. Those are two completely separate things. Let's not play games now. But as black black men, you all have to start giving more black. And I ain't even talk because honestly, the reason why SWP kind of annoyed me a little bit is because he was a recent thing with that, but he's not the only one. I've seen people on TikTok, dudes that it's like, yo, y'all are younger than me, so I know y'all know of this dude more than I do. Why are y'all coming to this dude like he's broke? Like they're trying to low key treat it like the Keke Palmer situation. And even with him, he wasn't broke, and his brother is an actor, so it's not like he ain't getting into a party without Keke. That's not true. His brother was an
Mhm.
actor. Now, is he is up there as Keke? No, but this idea that he's just some peasant, like y'all got to start, and he's mixed, but y'all got to stop disrespecting like black men got to stop that. And Grinch did a video where he was talking about that, as far as regarding the obsidian situation, how you just got dudes that they just jump at the chance to like make black men look bad in order to proceed to be presented as I'm in the middle. I'm not a I don't hate black women like the red pill. I'm in the middle. See, and they look for guys, and for some reason everybody like comes at this dude. And honestly, this dude has done a lot. Like seriously. Now people look at the image, but at the end of the day, this what
Hmm.
image really? This is what the women like, and it got Halle. So what are you really gonna say? I mean, let's be real. And honestly, she could do worse. Hell, she could still put him on child support with all the money she got.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. And if you compare her to Ebony K. Williams, who you think doing better? And she got more money than him. So when you look at stuff like this, you look at Simone Biles, who's like I think
Mhm.
26. Yeah, nothing to see here. Oh, well, they're married. Okay, they're married. Like I'm not against a marriage, but I also know that everybody don't always get married before. They sometimes get married when they want to. And the
Mhm.
women are
Mhm.
just as involved in that. It's this idea that if they're not married, it's because the dude ain't. This is not marriage. Is not sex. where you got this
Mhm.
drive that a dude has to have it. So the only thing that we're really waiting on is the woman to open her legs, and pretty much that's what you got. It's
Mhm.
marriage is not that. So stop acting like women just have this drive to get married, and especially in the African American community, they have this drive to get married, and dude just has to say yes. No,
Mhm.
but anyway,
All right, Edward. We gone long enough for this. I
yes.
appreciate you coming up for your insight, your take on it, and one thing I respect about you, you at least you won't talk about anything unless you're really fully confident to really go in detail about it. But
Kai,
like I said, the one with Haley Bailey is a little bit more easier search. The one with the Jalen, that's still you know questionable. But like I said, it's good that we talk about this, cover it anyway, because
yeah.
it's problematic, but it's only problematic to people that likes to keep focus on things
I'm
that's
not
not
right
really
about
as
everything.
difficult.
Kai said correction. Lil Wayne is 5'5". I've been told that. I think it's like 5'5" or 5'6". But yeah, and Drea, all you gotta do is research. I don't know everything about Drea because I don't pay attention to these chicks. But I would probably say if you research anything, research her and then research her history. But it is what it is. I mean, if you look, man, if you're 20, if you're 18, 21, even as far as even 17 as a dude, you know how old she is. This is not the Brittany Renner situation is a little bit different because she's still in her 20s. But once you get into a chick that's 39 and her son is like your age, Negro, you know what you're doing. Especially when you got two parents and you skipping over. Yeah, because think about it, the women in your family are not going to be cool with that because they don't want to split the money. So
Exactly.
even the matriarchal feminine nesting negatives in that situation actually works to protect you at least from an outside force because they have they have a vested interest in not no older, definitely not no older chick. I mean, honestly, how old is his? Drea got to be probably around the same age as his own mother. So it's like,
Mhm.
so when you see that situation, it wasn't just the dudes. The women had to have said something too. So it ain't nothing pushing you. So I know you skipped over all of that. Oh, you grown, you a millionaire. I'm just a dude. So what am I really doing? And am I gonna completely just, you know, oh, she's bad. She's gonna play the game that she can play. See, I'm not these. Look, I'm not hating on these chicks for playing a game, because the reality is, what could she lie about? She couldn't lie about her age. She couldn't lie about her kid. Oh, well, I love you. Da, da, da. I mean, really? You know the fundamentals of all of that already. That's on you. Men are not emotional like that. Not like women are. So even still, but even on a female situation, when they deal with older dudes, they know what they're doing and why. So we need to stop playing like they don't. But anyway, I'm done. I'll probably share this because, this gives me insight in this to save me having to, go off on this on my channel. So
Okay.
appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, push some
I
people.
appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you, Edward. Till next time. Appreciate it.
Yep. Peace out.
Okay. The chaos reigns.